Sup guys, it's Leeyah here, and today I'm going to show you how to fix a zip to a beaded bag. So I have had this bag for about 3 years now, and just recently the zipper thing got pulled out by me and now I have to change the zip. So I decided to use this opportunity to film it and show you guys how I fix zips onto my beaded bags. Since on this beaded bag tutorial I got a couple of comments asking for a more detailed video on how I fix the zip to the bag. And also Elizabeth, sorry for the delay, I was actually giving in to my procrastinating habit thinking no one will notice, but you did, so guess I won't be doing that again. PS, there's a link to this bead bag tutorial on the screen and in the description if you want to check it out. Also please subscribe if you haven't already. Well then, let's start. So first things first, I removed the old zip, and since my zip is longer than the space I left for it, I'll cut the extra off. But if your zip is just the right size, no need to cut anything off. So I use the old zip to measure where to cut off, after which I take my needle and 0.3 fish line. I thread it tight, then use it to sew up the edge of the zip I just cut off to prevent the zip from coming out when I open it. I sew the same spot over and over again till I was satisfied. After sewing, I tie it up by making a knot and then I cut off the excess fishing line. And now I take my 0.3 fish line again and cut a very long length of it. You can also use a normal sewing thread for this, but I prefer to use a fish line so that any mistake I make will not be noticeable. Also, I can't find my yellow thread and I'm not buying another one. And now I'm going to pass my fish line through a set of formatted beads. The thing is, I did film this part of the video, but when it was time for me to edit, I found out that I filmed rubbish. So this pink line on the bag represents my fish line and the part that it takes. So what I did was that I passed my fish line through this 4 bead, making one end of the fish line very long and the other short. Then at this place that both ends of the fish line are coming out from, I tie them together very tightly. After which I pass the short ends of the fish line through this matted bead closest to it below it, and for the longer end of the fish line I pass it through this bead here at the top. Then I take the shorter end of the fish line and cut off the excess, and for the longer end of the fish line I pass it through my needle. After which I take my zip. So by following the pink line explanation I did earlier, my fish line is now coming out through here. So I pass my needle in and out of the zip while making sure the space I leave will contain 1 bead. Then I leave this matted bead close to the fish line alone and pass my needle through the bead next to it, and then draw out the fish line. After that, I pass the needle through the zip, go under the teeth of the zip and pull the needle out from the other side, and then draw out the fish line. Then I pass the needle through the matted bead I skipped before, in and out of the zip again, then pass the fish line through the bead next to it. After which I pass the threaded needle in and out of the zip again, leaving a space enough for 1 bead. Then I turn the needle around and pass it through the matted bead closest to it. After which I pass the threaded needle in and out of the zip again. And now I pass my needle through the matted bead going up. Then I pass the needle in and out of the zip, making enough space for 1 bead. After which I skip this matted bead here and pass my needle through the bead next to it. As in, this is the bead my fish line is coming out from. I'll skip this bead and pass my needle through this bead next to it. Then I'll repeat the same last process again by passing my needle in and out of the zip, making enough space for 1 bead, skip 1 matted bead and pass my needle through the next matted bead. And so I'm going to keep repeating this process again and again till I get to the end of the zip length. So here's the thing, on the beaded bag tutorial that this video is requested, I didn't skip any bead while sewing the length of the zip to the beaded bag, because the bead I use on that bag is much more bigger than this. As in, for this bag I use 6mm beads and for that bag I use 10mm beads, which means after I finish matting the beads, the space left in between 2 matted beads is much bigger for the bigger beads than the smaller beads. So what I did was that after passing my needle through one matted bead, I passed the needle in and out of the zip, making as much space as the space between the two matted beads. After which I passed my needle through the next matted bead and continue like that, keeping no beads in between. And that is the only difference between how I fix the zip on both bags. All other things are the same. So if the beads you use to make your beaded bag is like 6 mm downward, you want to skip one bead in between, and if it's from 8 mm upward, do not skip any beads in between. Then I'll repeat the same last process again by passing my needle in and out of the zip, making enough space for one bead, skip one matted bead and pass my needle through the next matted bead. And so I'm going to keep repeating this process again and again till I get to the end of the zip length. And now, after sewing the length of the zip and the beaded bag together down to the end of the zip side, I pass my needle in and out of the zip horizontally. Then I turn the needle and pass it through this matted bead here. Then I pass the needle in and out of the zip and through that same matted bead again to secure it. And then in and out of the zip again. After which I pull the zipper up and then pass the needle through the matted bead on top of the zip teeth. Then I pull the zipper up more, turn my needle and pass it through both sides of the zip from under the zip teeth and pull it out from the other side. After that, I pass my needle through the same matted bead at the top of the zip again and then through both sides of the zip from under it. And here I make a knot to secure my sewing because I don't want the zipper to go anywhere past this point. After which I pass my needle through the matted bead at the top of the zip again, then in and out of the other side of the zip. After that, I pass the needle through the matted bead closest to it going up, pull the fish line out, then pass the needle in and out of the zip, making enough space for one bead. Then I skip one matted bead and pass my needle through the next bead. The process I am using to sew this side of the zip to the bag is the same as the one I used to sew the other side of the zip. So I'm going to continue using this same process to sew till I get to the end of this zip side. Now that I've finished sewing the zip to the bag, I'm going to tie my fish line somewhere here. It doesn't matter how you tie the fish line, just make sure you tie it well. Or you can also make a sewing knot at the end of the zip side, like the one I used to sew up the edge of the zip. After that, I cut off the excess fishing line. And that's all guys, thank you so much for watching this video and I hope this video helps you in knowing how to fix a zip to a beaded bag. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you are confused or have any questions, take it to the comments and I will respond as soon as I can. Lastly, please subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, bye.